Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Peter Evans. So today we have an exciting addition to our dairy farm that will take our dairy management system to the next level, and we are introducing the cow breeds, this one over here. Up until now, we've been managing our cows using the simple fields in our cow model to indicate their breed choices. But to further enhance our farm organization and efficiency, we shall be upgrading our approach. And now, instead of having direct choices for our Jersey, Asher cow, the Guernsey cow, and even the Frisian cow, also there's a Sirewall and maybe the crossbreed, we shall have a dedicated cow breed model to handle all this stuff for us. And now with this approach, we can now store comprehensive information about each breed, including their history, the characteristics, and even their unique features. And by implementing the cow breed model as a foreign key, we will be able to establish relationships between our cows and their respective breeds, and this shall enable us to make informed decisions about breeding, the health management, and many more. Just imagine the possibilities. We'll have easy access to all the cows belonging to a specific breed, and we can retrieve detailed information about each breed in just some few clicks. Today, I'll walk you through the code implementation step by step, and so let's dive in. Over here, you can see we have our cow breed model that is very simple, only a single field that is the name field. The name shall be a choices from the cow breed choices. We shall have these choices over here, the Frisian, the Ayrshire, the Sirewall, the Jersey, the crossbreed, and also the Guernsey. So back to our models. Our model shall perform some validations on the field, that is the name, as well as if there's an attempt to update this cow breed model. Where in order to explain all this stuff, I'll head over to the validators.py. I think from the previous tutorial, I'd introduced the concept of chunking out the validations into a separate file. So you can go ahead and watch that playlist, the one that I started about the users app. So in this class, the cowbreed validator, we shall be performing validations on the choices that are selected or choices that are sent to our server. That is, the choice must be a valid instance of the cowbreed choices, and if it's not, we shall throw this error, the invalid cow breed, with that very specific name that is passed. As well, we shall be ensuring that the name is unique and it does not exist in the database to ensure that we do not have duplicate records. And then we also have another method that shall be validating the update. Over here, I've restricted that you cannot update a cow breed because it does not make any sense. There is no way you can have a Frisian, then you update a Frisian to become a Guernsey. And that's it for the validators. So let's head over to the permissions. So just like in the previous tutorial that I've talked about, we had the permissions such as the is farm owner, is farm manager. Over here we have the can add the cow breed, can delete the cow breed, as well as can also view the cow breeds. Where can add the cow breed is restricted to only the farm managers and the farm owners. As you can see over here, we are doing some evaluation if the user is authenticated, as well as if the user is a farm owner and also a farm manager. So that's when the permission shall be granted to add a new cow breed. Also, inside the deletion of a cow breed, we shall only grant both the farm owner as well as the farm manager. And then in order to view the cow breeds, we shall grant all the staff for the farm, where the farm owner, the farm worker, the farm manager, as well as the assistant farm manager shall have the permissions to view the cow breeds in our farm. And that's it for our permissions. So I'll head over to the views.py, where in the views.py we have our view set. I think you are quite familiar with the model view sets from the previous tutorials where we were specializing on specifying the query set and also the serializer class, but from now henceforth we shall be enhancing our views to perform other more advanced actions like filtration and also the ordering, where in this case now we shall have specification on this attribute of the filtration backend as well as the filter class and the ordering fields. In the actions that I'm talking about are actions to do with the filtering and also the ordering of the data that we're retrieving from the server. And in this case, we shall be specifying our filtration backends, that is the Django filter backend and the ordering filter, from a certain package that I've introduced today in this tutorial to enable us actually perform the filtration, that is the Django filters. This is a very handy package to enable us actually perform the filtration that we want to achieve over here, as well as the ordering filter. So the ordering filter is from the Django default REST framework filters module. So inside the filter set class is where we shall specify the fields that we shall use for filtering our backend, as well as the ordering fields shall specify the fields that we shall use to specify our ordering criteria. In this case, we only have a single field, that is the name. So of course, that is the name that we shall be using to order. So you might be wondering where this cow breed filter set is from. In the spirit of conciseness and ensuring that we don't get confused as our code is growing larger day by day, I simply introduce a new file that is named filters.py, where we've defined the class cowbreed filter set. And just like the models, this is the way we are defining our filter set class. And the filter set that we are using over here is from the Django filters, where we shall do our filtration action based on the name field, since this is the only field that we have. So this is how we define it, where we specify the lookup expression and the I contains. The I contains technically means that our view shall not be case sensitive, and let's say that we had a breed that is saved on our database, that is the Jersey, and someone supplies a request with a query parameter of JE. That technically means that it shall go ahead and retrieve the cow breed of the name Jersey. And so that's it for the filters. So back to our views. Over here in our views, we also specify the permissions that we shall use to perform the specific actions. And in this case, if there is a create action that is actually received by our view, we shall restrict only the farm manager and the farm owners to perform that. And if somebody wants to delete a cow breed, the person has to be either a farm owner or a farm manager from our database. And if it's stuff like basically just viewing, then all the staff, all the farm staff shall be able to perform that. And just like what we've done in our validators.py over here, where we've restricted the updation of our cow breeds, we do the very same thing on our view layer as well. So we shall be having the double protection against update of our cow breed names. So this is the response that we shall have if that's the case. The updates are not allowed for the cow breeds of an HTTP status for 5 method not allowed. And then we go ahead and actually override our list method to ensure that if the request object has some associated query parameters, then we shall perform either the filtration or the ordering as per the request. And so this is the rationale. If the query set is not there as a result of 1, the query parameters that are supplied with the request does not actually return any object, or there are no any query parameters that are supplied with our request object, we shall actually perform these conditions, where the first case is where the query parameters that are supplied does not actually return anything from the database. We shall have this no cow breeds found, matching the provided filters with an HTTP status 404 not found. Or if the request was just a plain request that does not have any associated query parameters, then we shall have no cow breeds found in the farm yet of an HTTP status 200 OK. This is the case where maybe we have not added any cow in our database. So those are the two kind of scenarios that we shall perform if the query set does not have anything, or else if the query set has some data populated through it, then we shall actually serialize it and then return the response of the serialized data. And that's it for the views. We're supposed to head over to the test, but I'd like you to get a glimpse of how the filtration and the ordering actually occurs. So we shall head over to the terminal and actually fire up our server, where our server is now up and running, and we shall use Postman to do this. So we shall head over to the localhost daily the cow breeds, that is the base URL for our cow breeds, and try a get request to our database. Okay, only farm staff and workers have permissions to perform this action. Well, this is as a result of the authentication guardrail that we had added inside our view, where we had a method they get permissions. Yeah, over here you see we are sending the request without any permission or rather any authorization. So after commenting it out, we head over back to the URL and try accessing them. Yeah, you can see I had already pre-populated the database with these 3 breeds, that is the Jersey, the Asher, and also the crossbreed. So that's basically retrieving the cow breeds from our database. So we shall actually try some filtration, and the filtration, the way the URLs work is to actually put a question mark, and the field that we shall actually be filtering based on is the name, that is now the name, and then the value. Let's say we send maybe the AY. So if we try that, then we send a get request to our database, then of course you can see right now it's only a share that has the AY inside it. Even if you were to send, let's say, the Jersey, that is maybe the JER, if those are the only alphabets that we know for that very specific name of that breed, you can see we retrieve the Jersey. And so now that you have a glimpse of how filtration occurs, we shall head over to the tests. We're in the tests. Now we head over to the very base folder for the testing. That is the test. Then inside the test, we have the folders for the apps. This is from the previous tutorial when I introduced the users. So we have this folder, the dairy folder, that's actually containing the test for the dairy. So moving forward, we have the test models, that is to test if you can create a new cow breed, where in this very first method, we're testing the cow breed creation. After testing it, we assert that the name of the created object is the same as the cow breed name.gansi. Of course, we're creating the Gansi over here, so they have to match. Then we also test if the creation of a duplicate breed name actually raises that error. You can see we actually wrapping the call of save inside the with the statement so that we actually ensure that we capture all the a breed with the name blah 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 already exists. We also test if the invalid breed name, so this is a case where we send a name that is not actually a valid choice of the cow breed choices. And that's it for the models. Then now for the views, there are a couple of methods over here where first of all, since this actually requires authentication, just like from the previous tutorial that I've actually given about the users, we've actually just replicated all that we had over there where we supply this test case with the user ID, the token, and also the username, so that we ensure that we perform the authenticated request. And the very first method over here is to test the create cow breed as a farm owner. Of course, that should allow a farm owner to create, because from our permissions, we were allowing the farm owners and also the farm manager, where we construct the URL. Then now we pass the cow breed that we're supposed to save, ensure that we have an authorization token of the farm manager, and in this case it's the farm owner. And then now we pass the post request to the URL with the request payload of the cow breed data as well as the authorization headers. Then we check if the response status code is the 201 created. Then also we check if the breed name actually exists after the creation. So I'll also give a brief glimpse of the test create cow breed as a farm worker permission denied. Of course, we restricted that creation is only allowed for the farm managers and the farm owners. And if we try that, the farm worker should get a HTTP for 3 status forbidden. And we ensure that there's no any cow breed that is created because the user was actually forbidden from doing that specific action. So these test methods, they actually just behave in a similar manner. But now I'll go ahead and also give you a glimpse of test filter cow breeds by name, where I then create 2 cow breeds within this method, that is the Jersey and also the crossbreed, and then now try retrieving them, or rather try filtering them based on the parameter of the cow breed choices.jersey. So I've actually constructed this URL this way because I really don't know the very best way of, or rather the alternative way of how I could have constructed this, but this will actually evaluate into something like this. This one over here, the local host, the dairy cow breeds, question mark name, then maybe now because there I've supplied the full name for the Jersey, now it will be the Jersey in full. So we all know that the reverse function will resolve the rest of the URL, then we only need to append this, and that's the reason why I've done it this way. And so we try that filtration is allowed for all the farm stuff, and if that's the case, then now we do check if the response status code is 200 okay, as well as assert that the filtration only results into only a single item in the dictionary, that is the cow breed choices. Remember over here we've actually specified the full name, so it shall only be retrieving the Jersey as the response data, and then we check if the name is okay, and that's it. So at this point in time, I'll now go ahead and run the tests using the PyTest. So we run that, and as you can see, the tests are running and they're taking a little bit of time, so I'll just fast forward this into completion. Alright, in 35 seconds you can see we ran 37 tests and all of them passed. And so that's it for this tutorial. If you find it actually helpful, please share, subscribe, and like. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section down below. Until next time, bye bye.